Look at verse 23 again. It says, search me, O God, know my heart, try me, and know my anxieties. Now, I would ask you to raise all the people in here that have anxieties. I'd ask you to raise your hand, but it would be all of you. A lot of times we don't think we do. We want to acknowledge it. We kind of gloss over them. And again, when I talk about your fears, I'm not talking about like, walking into a dark house. Snakes and spiders, and those, I hate them. Anybody else hate snakes and spiders? Amen. We're not talking about external things that you're afraid of, right? Like, again, I've done this before. Have you ever checked behind the shower curtain when you got home? Right? Yeah, you come in and you go through the house, you cut the lights on, you get back there and you check behind the shower. There's nobody ever there. There's probably never been anybody there in the history of the world. But you check every single time. And I've done it, and I'm just going to warn you right now, if you ever want to scare me, the one place I suggest that you should avoid is behind my shower curtain. Because that's the one place I'm always expecting somebody to be. And I will shoot you. Okay? Because that's where I think it's going down. You might need to catch me on the hallway to the bathroom. I don't know. Right? What is it? Movies? They make us think somebody's in the shower, behind the shower curtain. Listen, those aren't the things that we're talking about. Those aren't the anxieties. We're talking about the internal fears, internal anxieties, right? We're afraid of losing a job. Maybe you're afraid that you won't get married by a certain age. Maybe you're afraid that certain things in your relationships won't happen. Maybe you're afraid of being stuck in a bad marriage and never getting better. Maybe you're afraid of the future. You're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of failing. You're afraid of succeeding, right? You're afraid of losing. You're afraid of winning, right? What if I love somebody and I lose them? Right? What if something bad happens? What if these fears and anxieties? And David here is saying, God, show me my anxieties. Know my anxieties and show me my fears. Now, I heard a pastor say this one time, and it stuck with me. And I've shared this with you before. There's a reason why this is important. Look at this next slide. What you fear the most reveals where you trust God the least. There's really something to that. Basically speaking, where you have the most fear and the most anxiety in life, internally speaking, that's probably the place where you're leaning on God the least. You're trusting God the least. Because if you're really leaning on Him, you wouldn't have that fear and that anxiety. Does that make sense? Think about it. What we fear the most reveals where we trust God the least. If I'm scared to death that my marriage isn't going to work out, it probably means I'm not trusting God with my marriage. If I'm afraid every month that I'm not going to be able to pay my bills at the end of the month and have this overwhelming fear and anxiety, it probably means I'm not trusting God with my finances. What you fear the most reveals really where you're trusting God the least.